79 years old, which is less than half the age of Bill Snyder. Bill Snyder also deciding to step down at Kansas State, as Urban Meyer did at Ohio State. And I tell you, Bill Snyder retiring, the 79-year-old Hall of Famer. This is not the greatest rebuilding job, as was pointed out to me on social media. This was the greatest building job in college football history, because there was nothing there but a hot purple mess and a bunch of rubble when he got there. He inherited a 27-game winless streak, Copper Bowl jacket, Nike Cortez kicks, Georgia house baby on the king of the Little Apple.
They thought he was crazy, and they were right.
I think this has the opportunity for the greatest turnaround in college football.
30 years ago, almost to the day, Bill Snyder became the head coach of Futility U, of the Wildcats, of a Kansas State program so laughably awful that the school came this close to pulling the plug. Instead, it hired 47-year-old Bill Snyder and hoped for a miracle in Manhattan. They got it, and much more. They got a dawn to midnight work ethic. No stars who played like 5 stars. A transformation from the worst of the worst to bowl games. A foundation set with rebar and concrete. A family. A legacy. Snyder has a stadium, a statue, and a highway in his honor. And if there were a Mount Rushmore for football miracle workers, he'd be on that too. Crazy? Damn right he was. Crazy smart. Crazy intense. Crazy successful.
Man skipped lunch every day because he figured out how much work he could get done then, and then said, hey, I get so much work done at lunch, I'll skip dinner too.
I would recommend that at home. But
Hey, one time a day, late at night.
Crazy.
If you understand, Kirk, the state of the program when he took it over, they had played at one point 5 straight games against Oklahoma in Norman because they could make more money going to a road game, and they couldn't get anybody to come see their games. It's been a remarkable job.
Yeah, big loss for college football to lose Bill Snyder from the game. I'll never forget late 90s when I was first on Game Day, we would go into Manhattan, they had Michael Bishop and some of those teams. And to see where Kansas State football was, even then, he had turned it after about 10 years, where it was into where it is now with the additions to their stadium, his name's up on the stadium, the expectations now. New coach is going to step in there and feel that. But Bill Snyder is one of the greats to ever coach the game, because not just the wins and losses, but how he did it, how he carried himself. You just knew every year, no matter who was on the Kansas State roster, you knew what you were going to get from Kansas State every single year, man. I loved him.
And I think people hear you say one of the greats, but what did he win championships?
Yeah.
He was at Kansas State. It's a different animal. One of the least penalized teams. Never beat themselves. Didn't turn the football over. Found a new way to do it, getting JUCO players to come because it's a tough place to recruit to. Yeah. But here's the thing. If Bill Snyder would have left and taken an LSU job, like he had the opportunity to back in the past, he would have gone and won national championships. He would have done that. He is one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. Like, don't judge him just. First of all, he's probably one of the last ones to ever stay at a school like Kansas State for 27 years. I mean, to leave,
there.
to leave, he leaves, it goes back down to where it was, comes back and fixes it again. I mean, literally one of the greatest coaches of all times. Just thank you so much for
years. I've called him one of my favorite coaches. You know, we look at certain players, we say that guy's a throwback guy, right? He's a throwback. He's like a throwback coach. He reminds me of the coaches that I came up with: Bruce Walker, Nate Clark when I was at St. Tim's, the late Bill Gutbrod in high school, and then, of course, Bo Schembecker when I was in Michigan. Discipline, fundamentals, and a guy who's more interested in developing these young men and the character of these young men off the field as much as on the field. He's taught these players life lessons on the field that they're carried with them the rest of their lives. That's why I always loved him as a head coach. I'm going to miss him. He was just, to me, a very, very special fixture in this sport.
It's no secret that he wants his son Sean to take over. Seth Luttrell was viewed as a front runner, but he withdrew himself from consideration right now. Kansas State still hasn't made a decision on who will take over for the legendary Bill Snyder.